Welcome to this episode of Floductivity. Thank you so much for being here. If you have a friend or family member that would get some value out of the secret of being productive in the age of distraction, please share this with them. I would be grateful for this support. Want to apologize. I am recovering from the flu and a busy holiday season. And I'm going to be a bit honest with you. I thought for the first time since launching my podcast, I skipped a week on publishing an episode, but I'm grateful for Productive Kara because she had an episode already and scheduled to be posted, and so I am grateful for her. I was going to publish this episode for that week, but when I went to edit it, the video and the audio were not there, only the transcript, and a transcript cannot make a podcast or a YouTube episode. And so, lesson learned on checking my work before I think I'm done. I guess I will think that the universe is guiding me in what episodes to publish, and this one was meant to be when it's supposed to be. So, welcome to this episode on the secret of being productive in the age of distraction. I really thrive on helping people be more productive, but I want it to come from a place of flow and not depletion. I want to give you the tips on the things that have helped me really step into my power, and that's really figuring out how I operate. And so, as always, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So let's dive in. Welcome to Floductivity, a place to inspire and empower beings to embrace self-love and self-development for an achievable balance of productivity. I share different ways to come back to your intuition through spirituality, self-care, human design, cycle planning, wellness, and everything in between. Thank you so much for joining me this week. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you've been here with me before, thank you so much for coming back. I'm so excited to join you in this journey as we learn together. So I've broken it down into 5 steps, 5 different areas for you to look at to help you become more productive. And we'll dive into that in a minute, but I want to share a little bit of how I felt before I found this flow in productivity. I felt like I could never stay focused enough to accomplish anything, to finish what I was working on. I felt like I was always constantly checking emails and social media and getting distracted by every little sound or notification. And it's like I found a way to leverage modern technology for more than just multitasking and aimlessly scrolling. So I want to share a little bit of what Floductivity means to me and why I came up with this concept. Floductivity is reviving your flow of life and making productivity your superpower. So to help you remember a little bit of what flow means in Floductivity, F is for focusing on your goals. L is learning to live in alignment with your design. And O is becoming omnipotent, which means having great power. So I want you to start living from a place of flow and make productivity your superpower. And so I'm going to share some tips and tricks that I've used in a way to really help propel myself forward in building my business, being a better wife, mom, and all the things that I'm striving for in my life. And so, like I said before, there was 5 different steps to look at when you're trying to figure out how to become more productive. The first one is understanding why you're struggling to stay productive. And so for me, I was trying to do all the things all the time. I was trying to be productive around the clock. And what that did for me was that depleted me. That led me right to burnout. And so using my cycle vitality, using my menstrual cycle to follow standard operating procedures, honestly unlocked a power within me. Because once I realized that my body had a time for planning, my body had a time for doing, my body had a time for reflecting on the details, and my body needs a time for rest. And when I utilize that, I really can step into a whole world of productivity. And I just encourage other people to find a way that they can track and use their cycle so that they can become more productive. So that's my first encouragement is stop looking at your cycle as a burden and look at it as your standard operating procedure. And understanding that the more attention that you give your body, the more it will help you in being the best version of yourself. And my own personal journey was fighting against my cycle, thinking that I could be productive all the time. And that was not good for my mental health. That was not good for my body. That was not good for my relationships because I was trying to be something I wasn't at different places of my cycle. And when I lean into the cyclical nature of my cycle, I saw an uptick in productivity. But not only that, I felt like I was nourished in the process. So it can feel incredibly frustrating to struggle with staying productive, especially when we feel like we should be able to power through our work and get more done. But it's important to remember that being productive doesn't always come easily, and there could be a valid reason why it might not be happening as quickly or smoothly as you hope. So it might be worth it to take a step back and assess your standard operating procedures. And again, using my cycle vitality really helped me understand and receiving the gifts that will come in and tuning into our own cyclical rhythms and procedures within our body. Our cycle has the divine power to help lead us on what best utilizes our energy in the present moment, whether it's resting or working at full capacity. That means if we don't take time to listen when it's time to slow down, we won't have enough fuel for when it's time to top off those batteries and fully manifest what's meant for us. And so it's letting go of control and finding comfort in trusting the divine plan that exists within you. Ultimately, the goal is not necessarily to become more productive overnight, but rather look at what strategies will create a stronger foundation so progress can continue in the future. I can tell you many of times where I have something that I want to get done, a goal in mind, and I stop listening to my body and I work through and push myself in a way that's not healthy for me. And ultimately, that's probably why I got the flu this year. I really wanted to get my digital planner done for myself. And originally, I said I wasn't going to launch it for other people. I was only going to launch it for myself. That way, I was on my own timeline and not other people's. And then I put this pressure on myself to try and get it done. I was taking away time away from my family around the holidays, and then here I am recovering from the flu. I did it the first time I launched my digital planner, where I worked myself into the ground and I tried to get it done, and I wasn't listening to my body when it needed to rest. And so it just comes through as honoring your body and what it's trying to tell you, and our cycles can really help us in that process. Some other things that I found in the struggle of being productive is not having different systems in place to help me be productive. And so I found that digital planning has changed my life with that because everything I need is in a digital planner. Whereas before, I'd have one notebook for ideas, and I'd have another planner for planning, and then I would have a journal, and then I would have moon journals, and everything was always everywhere, and it was always scattered where things lived. And so I would give up on projects halfway through because I did not have a place for everything. I don't know. Say that it's because I'm neurodivergent, ADHD, I'm not sure. but I found so much power in using a digital planner. Another thing that I have used to help bring my productivity up is using a task management site. I use Asana. I use the free version, and it's just a great place for me to build my standard operating procedures so that when I do something and it's repetitive, the steps are right there and I never have to start from square one. And so those are two things I wish I would have started earlier to really help support my productivity. Step number 2 is to make a plan to increase your productivity. Making a plan to increase your productivity doesn't have to be daunting. In fact, digital planning tools and task management systems are available to help make it easier and to create structure and boost your efficiency. Start by assessing your time, then define specific goals you'd like to improve on. Setting clear objectives will help you stay on track with projects and maximizing your time. Finally, I'd recommend exploring digital planning options or task management systems to help you better organize your tasks to get the most out of each day. If you want to see if digital planning is for you, I have a blog post that has a free digital business planner. It has videos on tips and tricks on how to use a digital planner. If you're interested in my Floductivity 2023 digital planner, it's literally changed my life. I built it for the exact reason I needed it for. I wanted to teach myself about my cycle, and this version for 2023 is out of this world. I'm so excited to dive in and start planning my 2023. So in this version, there is goal setting pages. There are goal reflection pages. There is embodied goal detail. And so there's an episode coming out next week about how I have changed my goal settings, my New Year's resolutions. And so this digital planner actually has the whole thing written out for you to be able to set your goals in a way that feels good to you. It's not check this off the list kind of goals. It's what do you want to embody? And having a place where you can kind of come back and refer to throughout the year to make sure that you're having those feelings in your body that you want to within your goals. There's also spots to create your own rituals. I love having a morning ritual, a workday startup ritual, a workday shutdown ritual, and an evening ritual. I also love creating my own new moon and full moon rituals, and so there's obviously spaces for that within there too. I also have the whole breakdown of the menstrual cycle, the different phases, and different daily planning sheets so that you can customize your planner to exactly what you want it to be. Within each phase, you have the option for building your ideal week. You have specific nutrition. You have reflection for each phase. And I've also created card pulls that will help support you in each phase. There's a place to create a self toolkit, so self-investment and self-love, and all the things that you can do to help support yourself. There's affirmations for each phase. There's intentions for each phase. There's suggested self-love and self-investment for each phase, and also a place to create a ritual in what phase that you're experiencing. This planner also has a moon and cosmic planning section. There is information about each moon and what it stands for. There's a cheat sheet to help you understand your zodiac signs, houses, and placements. There is tarot spreads. There are, like I said before, rituals that you can create around the moon. My favorite thing about this is that the calendars that are built within this digital planner have moon images. And when you click on that specific moon, it will take you to a journaling prompt for that moon and to teach you a little bit about each moon as you journal through. My cycle has really helped me build standard operating procedures, and the moon has really helped walk me through working through my shadow self, my emotions, and just to really process things in a way that will help me grow. And so that's the difference of why I use my menstrual cycle and the moon cycle. I use them for two different things, but both are equally as powerful. Another little piece of my digital planner is there's a project section. And so anytime I start a new project, I know that it's in that place. It just keeps me organized, being able to work on all the things. I also have a template page, and that template page has blank weekly planning. It has a habit tracker. It has a budget, travel, meal planning, recipes, doctor's appointments, house cleaning, chores lists, seasonal tasks, birthdays, passwords, self-investment and self-love sheets, and a blank journal. So again, you can just have everything in your life organized in one place. And then, of course, there are some extra blank sheets that can help you build your planner to exactly what you want. And then, of course, it has all the months. They're all dated. When you look at the month, you'll see a new moon and a full moon. And you click on it, it will take you to that specific full moon or that specific new moon. And then as you go into the weeks will have the first quarter and the last quarter. That once you click on that, you can go right to that page. I wanted to make the 2023 planner literally, if I were to travel and I only wanted to bring my iPad, I could. And so using my menstrual cycle and the moon journaling has really helped propel me forward in growing as much as I can and supporting myself. And so I hope that if you're interested in doing the same, you will check out my digital planner. I will put the information in the show notes. So number 3 is implementing a plan and giving yourself time to adjust. If you're feeling overwhelmed and out of control, I have found that human design really helped me. It provided me an opportunity to take a step back and evaluate what strategies best suit my goals. And doing this research helped ignited power and action beyond what I thought was possible. And so your authority in human design provides guidance by elevating your intuition, leaving you with greater self-confidence and direction in life. Implementing the plan with plenty of time for adjustment gives you the space needed to reevaluate and adjust as what's needed. And so, again, I find that if you find a planner, whether it's a paper planner, a digital planner, having something that you can refer back to see how something worked and how you can do better going forward. And so from my lesson, the first time I launched my digital planner, I was very disappointed that by the end of the year, I sold 2. And that was really devastating to me because I found so much power in it. But here's the thing. 1, not everybody's into digital planning or they don't really know what it is. And 2, it's helped me so much to create something that supports me in my life. And so I've come from a place of creating this digital planner to help support me in my business. And if I can make money off of it one day, that would make me extremely happy. But knowing that I needed that first launch to be able to get to where I'm at. You're never going to do something the first time and excel at it. I mean, if you do, props to you. But a lot of times it takes practice, it takes learning, it takes feedback. And so knowing that you need to have a place to refer to see your growth and tracking is really important. And so finding something that fits within your realm is, well, that's up to you to find. But again, digital planning has really changed my life because all those things are in one place for me and I'm not overwhelmed trying to find all those bits and pieces from all the things that I'm planning with. So number 4 is track your progress and make changes as needed. And so keeping track of your progress is an important part of your success story. Whether you choose a journal, a digital planner, a paper planner, to track your accomplishments, setting time each day or week to review how far you've come and make adjustments as needed is key. Taking this action not only helps motivate you, but it also allows you to adjust your approach to ensure reaching your future goals. So take time to track your progress and make changes as needed is empowering and encourages a sense of personal growth. Number 5, you got to celebrate your accomplishments. I have fallen in the downside of not doing that. Again, I was always trying to work towards the goal. And then once I did it, I was always on to the next thing. And so celebrating successes is the best way to motivate yourself for future goals. Before you even start working towards that goal, you must make a plan on how you will celebrate that accomplishment. Writing down how you will celebrate beforehand sets an intention and makes the journey that much more enjoyable. Celebrations don't have to be big or extravagant. They can be as simple as taking a few minutes to appreciate everything it took to get there, from dedication and your hard work, and knowing when it's time for a break. Celebrate often, as each success will bring you closer to your desired outcomes. And in my digital planner, there is a section for goals, and there is a space for how you're going to celebrate. And so I have really poured my heart and soul into this digital planner with all these things that are so important when you're trying to live a life that feels fulfilling and like you're achieving, you're being productive, but again, from a place of flow, and you're not pushing yourself into a place of hustle. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you so much for joining me this week. If this was your first time, welcome. And if you've joined me for previous episodes, thank you so much for coming back. Before you go, I would love if you could share my podcast with a friend. Those few moments make a huge impact, and I would be grateful. If you want to learn more, make sure to check out the show notes, and all the links mentioned will be there as well. We'll chat soon.